Hey everyone, welcome to My Friend the Reader, July TBR/book haul. Sorry I haven't done a video in a while. It's been super chaotic in my life. Big news is we're having a baby, and it's our first one, and that's taking up a lot of time, as you can imagine, with all the preparation, all the appointments. What else have we been doing? Like buying furniture for a nursery, buying a stroller. We just had our baby shower. It is crazy. Super excited and to meet our little daughter, but it's stressful as well. As a result, or related to that, I'm switching positions at work, so I have to tie all sorts of loose ends associated with the current position I'm in, including one final hearing that I have. I'm a lawyer by trade, so that's have a couple of things to tie up and finish up, as well as getting prepping to go into a new assignment for a short period of time until I go off on parental leave. So it has been a busy time, so I haven't made many videos, and I apologize for that. We'll see whether being off work and taking care of a baby is going to create much more time for it, but we'll see. Anyways, I wanted to do a bit of a TBR/book haul video. I don't buy many physical books, so it's not quite as entertaining in terms as some of these other YouTube videos where people show you this huge pile that they've bought. I tend to get a lot of my books from the library. I get a lot of ebooks. I have a Kobo, which is my baby. It's a Kobo Aura 1, which I actually won in a competition a couple of years ago, a book-related competition around the Giller Prize. So it's not quite as exciting to show this pile of books, these hundreds of books that I have on here. But nonetheless, some of the books that I'm mentioning or I'm going to be talking about today are there. I do have two books that I got and I won as a result of a giveaway, and it was a giveaway by A Bibliophile's Journey, who has a booktube channel, which I'm going to link below. I think it was, she wanted to do a bit of a giveaway, 40 bucks worth of books from Book Depository, American dollars, which for a Canadian is a huge deal in terms of what more you can get. So I got these two amazing books. These are obviously big buzz books of the summer. I've seen other booktubers who I follow already talk about them, have potentially already read them. So those are the first two I'll talk about. Let's go to Lauren Groff. Lauren Groff wrote Arcadia, wrote Fates and Furies, which was like President Obama's pick to win our best book of the year when it came out a couple of years ago. This is a short story collection called Florida, and I'll read the back. In this vigorous and moving new book, Lauren Groff brings her electric storytelling and intelligence to a world in which storms, snakes, and sinkholes lurk at the edge of everyday life. But the greater threats and mysteries are of a human, emotional, and psychological nature. Among those navigating it all are a resourceful pair of abandoned sisters, a lonely boy grown up, a restless, childless couple, a searching, homeless woman, and an unforgettable, recurring character, a steely and conflicted wife and mother. The stories in this collection span characters, towns, decades, even centuries, but Florida, its landscape, climate, history, and the state of mind becomes a gravitational center, an energy, a mood, as much as a place of residence. Groff transports us, then jolts us, alert with a crackle of wit, a wave of sadness, a flash of cruelty, as she writes about loneliness, rage, family, and the passage of time. With shocking accuracy and effect, she pinpoints the moments and decisions and connections behind human pleasure and pain, hope and despair, love and fury. The moments that make us alive. Startling, precise, and affecting. Florida is a magnificent achievement. So I haven't read Arcadia. I read Fates and Furies. I liked it quite a bit. I liked her storytelling technique. She writes in writes about super emotional subjects in a tone that's intentionally flat and cold. I find it crisp in many ways. The writing's enticing, and her plotting is precise. She's a pro, and I'm looking forward to getting through this. I think it'll be a great little reprieve from some of the books I've been reading lately. And the other is There by Tommy Orange. It is who's an Indigenous or a Native American writer, and it has been blurbed by Louise Erdrich, Margaret Atwood, Marlon James, Omar Akkad. Who else is well known here? I don't know the other two. Anyways, it's been blurbed by some pretty huge names. So, and I've heard from some of the online communities I follow that it's wonderful. So let's take a quick look. Fierce, angry, funny, heartbreaking. Tommy Orange's first novel is a wondrous and shattering portrait of an America few of us have ever seen, and it introduces a brilliant new author at the start of a major career. There is a relentlessly paced, multi-generational story about violence and recovery, memory and identity, and the beauty and despair woven into the history of a nation and its people. It tells the story of 12 characters, each of whom has private reasons for traveling to the big Oakland powwow. Jackie Redfeather is nearly sober and trying to make it back to the family she left behind in shame. Dene Oxendene is pulling his life back together after his uncle's death and has come to work at the powwow to honor his uncle's memory. Opal Viola Victoria Bearshield has come to watch her nephew Orville, who has taught himself traditional Indian dance through YouTube videos and has come to the powwow to dance in public for the very first time. There will be glorious communion and a spectacle of sacred tradition and pageantry, and there will be sacrifice, heroism, and unspeakable loss. Here is a voice we have never heard, a voice full of poetry and rage exploding onto the page with stunning urgency and force. Tommy Orange writes of the plight of the urban Native American, the Native American in the city, in a stunning novel that grapples with complex and painful history, with an inheritance of beauty and profound spirituality, and with a plague of addiction, abuse, and suicide, an unforgettable debut destined to become required reading in schools and universities across this country. That's pretty heavy praise. I am a little worried. The House of Broken Angels, which was a highly anticipated book, one that I was looking forward to, I thought was a little messy, and part of that was the result of too many narrative voices. I am a little worried about a book that has apparently 12, but if it's pulled off well, it can be done quite strongly. I'm currently listening to Rachel Kushner's The Mars Room. Was not a huge fan of her previous book, Flamethrowers. This one is told through multiple narrative perspectives, and it is engrossing, and you can feel a coherence to it. So hopefully there has that as well. Let's grab a few books that I got on my e-reader that I think are worth talking about. So the first is America is Not the Heart. Let's see what the details are here on my Kobo. Okay. How many lives fit in a lifetime? When Hero de Vera arrives in America, haunted by the political upheaval in the Philippines and disowned by her parents, she's already in her third. Her uncle gives her a fresh start in the Bay Area, and he doesn't ask about her past. His younger wife knows enough about the might and secrecy of the De Vera family to keep her head down, but their daughter, the first American-born daughter in the family, can't resist asking Hero about her damaged hands. An increasingly relevant story told with startling lucidity, humor, and an uncanny heart for the intimacies and shorthand of family ritual. America is Not the Heart is a sprawling, soulful debut about 3 generations of women in one family struggling to balance the promise of the American dream and the unshakable grip of history. I love immigrant stories, either Canadian ones or American ones. I love ones that integrate past experiences in their homelands in terms of how it shapes their experiences in the United States or Canada. So this should be a good book. I'm not sure I'll get to it in July. I am on hold at the library for the audiobook. It feels like something that I'll listen to. Let's see what else I think I'm going to read this month. Moon Tiger. So, Moon Tiger, which I think I mentioned in my Man Booker video, the Golden Man Booker. The Moon Tiger is the 1980s nomination. It was one when I read the description to you all in my video. I did not sound very enticed, but it has gotten a lot of praise. It's kind of like a dark horse. I still think Wolf Hall is probably the winner, just because it's more recently known and because of the BBC series. But nonetheless, Moon Tiger sounds great. And so none of my libraries had the e-versions of this book. So I put in a little request, and the Toronto Library not only ordered Moon Tiger, they seem to have ordered the entire backlist for Penelope Lively, which is kudos to them. They should have it in e format. Lively is one of the more significant British authors in the last 30-40 years, and so it's the fact that they didn't is a shame. So Claudia Hampton, beautiful, famous, independent, dying. But she remains defiant to the last, telling her nurses that she will write a history of the world, and in the process my own. And it is her story, from a childhood just after First World War through the Second and beyond. But Claudia's life is entwined with others, and she must allow those who knew her, loved her, the chance to speak, to put across their point of view. There is Gordon, brother and adversary, Jasper, her untrustworthy lover and father of Lisa, her cool, conventional daughter, and then there is Tom, her one great love, found and lost in wartime Egypt. There's supposed to be a second page here. They're just blurbs. Anyways, it sounds a little more enticing than I thought the first time I listened to it. It looks like it's a short read. I've heard that the character Claudia is an incredibly captivating voice, so definitely something worth picking up. And so let's see what else I'm thinking of reading in this month. Okay, Warlight. This is Michael Ondaatje's new book. I have a sense that it might be short or long listed for the Man Booker Prize, which is also in July, which is also going to affect my TBR, because once the long list comes out, I'm going to try to make at least an honest effort to get us through as many as I can. Last year was very lucky. I'd already read 6 of them in advance. I doubt I'm going to have so much luck this year. I seem to have made more of an effort to read more contemporary or more older books to catch up. I'm trying to read some Philip Roth. I'm reading the Golden Booker books, which are a little older, so I haven't kept as quite on touch or on top of new books. So let's read this. Warlight. From the internationally acclaimed best-selling author of The English Patient, a mesmerizing new novel that tells a dramatic story set in the decade after World War II, through the lives of a small group of unexpected characters and 2 teenagers whose lives are indelibly shaped by their unwitting involvement. In a narrative as beguiling and mysterious as memory itself, shadowed and luminous at once, we read the story of 14-year-old Nathaniel and his older sister Rachel. In 1945, just after World War II, they stayed behind in London when their parents moved to Singapore, leaving them in the care of a mysterious figure named the Moth. They suspect he might be a criminal, and they grow both more convinced and less concerned as they come to know his eccentric crew of friends, men and women joined by a shared history of unspecified service during the war, all of whom seem in some way determined now to protect and educate in rather unusual ways. For it's a bit of a mystery. Let's see what else. Is there anything else I see on my list? That's probably it for now. Another book that I'm going to try to pick up, and it's summer. I should have some lighter reading. I haven't read any Tana French, and she has her Dubliner series of police detective novels, which I hear are great. So I'm going to start. I think Into the Woods is the first one, so I'm going to pick that up. Hopefully it's an easy, quick read. It'll cleanse my reading palette as I delve into some heavier stuff. So that's it for now. Thank you for being patient. I hope to try to keep making these once a week, but obviously baby might have other ideas, and baby's going to be the boss for a bit. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you. Talk to you soon.